I am going to start the day talking about my anaconda, Verde. Rice here is giving me a pretty good squeeze. Hey everybody, welcome to the vlog. I hope the start of your day is absolutely incredible. I am going to start the day talking about my anaconda, Verde. And why am I going to talk about her? Well, I tell you what, I'm going to come clean with you guys. After 570 something vlogs, every now and then my creativity gets a little bit lax. And I just wasn't sure what to do today. So today I am going to actually go back in my comments and do whatever you guys wanted. And Andrew Smith actually asked me how Verde is doing. So guess what, Andrew and anyone else that's interested? Verde is doing absolutely amazing. She's eating chicks like crazy. She hasn't switched over to rodents like I'd like her to, but that's completely fine. She will eventually do it, and she's doing amazing. I mean, look at how big she's getting and how amazingly placid she is. I love green anacondas, and I've always dreamt of owning one, so having Verde is truly a dream come true. So in the meantime, this entire vlog is going to be basically about the comments you guys have had and what you wanted me to show you guys. Is that okay with you? So go down in the comments and let me know if you like this idea. When I do kind of run out of ideas, I can maybe revisit this from time to time. Also, go in the comments and let me know what you want to see, and maybe I'll use your comment in the future. Take this as kind of a lazy day for me where I don't have to be uber creative. I could just answer some of your amazing comments, but it kind of proves that I read your comments and I love you guys' comments, so go down in those comments and do that. In the meantime, let's just keep moving on. Next up is Webtoon for Life, and they asked, how do I tell the sex of my boa constrictor? And you know, there's a bunch of different ways to sex snakes. We all know that the sex organs are in the base of the tail. You can avert those hemipenes by rolling, but if you don't know what you're doing, I really suggest you not doing that. You certainly can do harm. Also, there are surgical probes that go into the hemipene pocket at the base of the tail. Once again, if you don't know what you're doing, I suggest you not doing that. And then there's tail sexing. With some species, male snakes' tails are a little bit longer and less tapered. The females will have a quicker taper because they don't need space for the hemipene pocket. But luckily enough for you, boas you can actually spur sex. Right at the base of the vent there, they will have vestigial spurs on each side. Now, males and females do have vestigial spurs, and other pythons have them as well. Now, colubrids don't have vestigial spurs, but the point is that males will have much larger vestigial spurs than females. So if you see a really big hook on it, that means it's a male. If it's a little tiny thing, that means it's a female. But again, that only works in boas. It does not work in pythons. You can have a female ball python with huge hooks with vestigial spurs, and it's still a female. So I hope that helped. Dick Jones commented how he loved the fact that I was kind of getting into reticulated pythons and that he really loved them and he'd like to see some more. Well, this is a beautiful animal here. This, of course, is a Sunfire Platy super tiger. I mean, just look at how amazing the pattern and color, and as she's getting bigger, she's just getting better and better. That Sunfire just continues to brighten animals up as they get bigger. And listen, Nick, I love reticulated pythons and I want to get a handful more, but I'm not going to go too crazy with them because I don't want a million huge snakes, but I definitely want like a golden child maybe. I don't even know. There's a handful of stuff. And then Jay, of course, keeps producing insane pieds that I really want. I mean, okay, let's face it. I love reticulated pythons and I'll probably get a whole bunch more, but on my short list would definitely be a really dark, almost black golden child, and then one of those extremely sick combo pieds that Jay over at Prehistoric is producing. Rybread asked the question, how does a snake eat when it's feeding? And I tell you what, all questions are very smart, and that's a great question because when you see some big snakes eat really big food, you just think to yourself, my gosh, that entire thing is filled up with the food. How in the heck does it breathe? But actually, there's a little tube inside a snake's mouth that goes down that's a glottis vertebrae. And basically, that runs all the way into their lung, and they're able to kind of puff it up and expel air and even take in air while they're breathing, because sometimes a big snake could take an hour or two to eat a really large meal, so they obviously need to continue to eat. Well, there you go. I hope that answered your question. And again, I think it was a great question. I'm sure many people thought the exact same thing and just didn't think to ask it. Flash God asked if we could see RJ eat, and you could see RJ's just kind of hanging out. And I had kind of mentioned before that gators really go off of food oftentimes during the winter. The pond and the environment is still pretty warm. They sense the outdoor weather, the barometric pressures and so on like that, and he has barely eaten. He's probably only eaten 3 meals in the last 3 months, so he's just not very interested. But I noticed that he's kind of perking bulking up quite a bit lately. So I think that within the next probably 3-4 weeks, he'll start to feed much more regular. And I'll be honest with you, outside it's like 35 degrees right now, and we're supposed to even get a little bit of snow tomorrow, which is crazy because it's springtime, people. Fact is, as soon as the weather warms up outside, I guarantee you RJ will be feeding again. And of course I'm going to share that with you because he's absolutely amazing and feeding him is absolutely incredible. Matthew Hansen asked if I could show some Kenyan sand boas. And you know, Kenyans are an amazing animal. I've said this a million times. If you want a boa that doesn't get really large, a sand boa can be a really good option. And I just think the Kenyans are some of the prettiest ones. There's a lot of color mutations in Kenyans as well. This happens to just be kind of a high orange Kenyan. And again, they can go anywhere from kind of like a tan color to a yellow color all the way to an orange color. And of course, this is just one of the mutations that is out there, which is an anuretheristic, which is basically just lacking all of that red and orange pigment, and it's just basically a black and white Kenyan sand boa. But again, there are albinos, there are snows, there's splash, there's all kinds of really cool Kenyan sand boas. So I'm glad that you really wanted to know more about them because they're absolutely incredible and a great option if you want a really cool snake, but you don't want something that gets too big because basically this is about as big as they get. Cat Cortez asked me to update about Helen, and actually I think it was only a few days ago that I had Helen in the vlog and kind of did a little update, but I'm always happy to share it with her because I think she's an amazing animal. And if you remember back to last year, she hatched out, she didn't have any eyes. You guys helped me name her. Her name is of course Helen, and originally I was going to give her away once she started eating, but then I had to assist feed her for like 4.5 or 5 months before she finally took her first meal, and I kind of fell in love with her, to be honest with you. So there were some amazing people that really wanted to take her and give her a great forever home, but I just decided, you know, I'm going to keep her. I'm going to use her next door for kind of education. I think she's really going to touch some people's hearts. So she's doing really well. She's feeding. You can see how chunky she is, and she is just such a great animal. I mean, her disposition is so incredible. And again, I know people are going to see her. They're going to be amazed by her, and they're going to start loving snakes because of her. Joseas Hernandez asked me to update about that collection that I ended up acquiring from the guy that passed away, and it was really kind of a sad story, but it turned out that we got the animals and all is well. We're actually sending some of them out to Always Evolving Pythons. My buddy Miguel, he's ended up getting a handful of them, and I think it's going to be amazing to add to his collection, but they're doing really well. I mean, take a look at this pastel spot-nosed clown. I mean, look at how gorgeous she is. Then, of course, one of my favorites in this collection was this Puma ball python. I mean, what an amazing animal, and I've told you guys before that I'm not exactly sure what the genetics are behind it. Definitely a Puma, but I think there's something else going on. But they're all doing really well. Like this lavender pied here. I mean, look at how incredible that animal is. All of this is going to turn purple when it gets a little bit of size, but this is a really high white lavender pied. It's really gorgeous, and actually this animal itself is going out to my buddy Miguel's, but there's going to be a couple lavender pieds that stay here with me. All in all, the collection is doing really well. We're keeping about half it, and then we ended up moving the other half out, which is just good for me because I didn't want to keep all of the animals, but I didn't want them to stay in the situation that they were in where no one was really taking care of them. Really, it was a good situation that worked out from really a horrible situation. Minky asked me what my favorite Kingsnake morph is, and you guys know this. I can never pick a favorite. I mean, I love them all. They're all absolutely incredible, but I will say that I always have a real fondness for these ones right here. These, of course, are the albino, high white, black and white California Kingsnakes. Now, I'm not going to say they're my favorite, but they certainly do have a special spot in my heart. And again, when we started to work this project, I mean, they had like 10% white, and we worked them all the way to where now they're almost completely white. That's been probably about 20 years in the making, but you know, Eric works with these snakes every day, so let's go ask him what his favorite Kingsnake is.
Yo!
What is your favorite Kingsnake or Kingsnake morph? Either
Ooh.
one.
I would say favorite Kingsnake is the Brooks King, just because I have one.
Okay.
And I think they're pretty cool. Favorite morph, though, these Granite Mexes are really sweet.
Let's take a look at one.
I have just fallen in love with these guys, man. I mean, there's just so much color and the speckling in there.
That is truly amazing. And the granites can get really granite. This is kind of a low expression granite animal here. We have some that have hardly any red on them. They're just completely granited out. So that's a pretty good choice. I definitely agree with you. Those are some spectacular animals. Martin Mooseliner asked me if I was ever going to breed Laverne and Shirley, and the truth is that they can often reproduce. I think that there was a two-headed corn snake at the San Diego Zoo that lived like 20 plus years that they bred several times, and she had several good clutches of eggs. Of course, it's not a genetic mutation, so you can't produce more two-headeds from a two-headed snake. I mean, it's a conjoined twin. It's not a genetic mutation, but the truth is I probably won't risk it with Laverne and Shirley. I just want her to be a great ambassador and mascot animal, so I don't ever see myself myself actually putting her through the stress and pressure of breeding, because after all, there's always potential for something to go wrong, and I don't want anything to ever happen with these girls. Coco asked me how this big boa that I got maybe 5-6 months ago was doing. Now, she bred to Sunny a few times. I'm not 100% sure if she's gravid or not. She hasn't really went through what I saw as an ovulation, but she certainly is chunky, and she was eating really good and is kind of slowed down, which are all kind of signs of the fact that she might produce, but I have no idea. I should probably ultrasound her pretty soon, but I tell you what, she's a heavy girl, and boas are pretty strong, so when they're around your neck, they're just hanging on, but they squeeze a lot tighter than, say, a Burmese python or stuff like that. But the answer to your question is, she's doing absolutely incredible. So Lojaya N has asked me literally 15 days in a row to show gray banded kingsnakes. Really, that kind of is what inspired this whole idea of the show, is that they kept on asking over and over, can you show gray bands? Can you show gray bands? I thought, you know, this might be a good opportunity to go ahead and do one of these shows. Of course, this is a Blair's phase gray banded kingsnake. Now, there's actually the Blair's phase, and then there's the Alterna phase. The Blair's phase are these beautiful wide orange bands, and the Alterna phase is like this, where basically you have virtually no orange bands, or sometimes you can have really skinny orange bands and then a black band. In this case, there's really no orange bands whatsoever. It's just gray and black. So these guys are absolutely incredible. I love gray banded kingsnakes, and I love the fact that we're raising up a whole new group of them. So hopefully next year we'll really start producing them again like we did years and years ago. I think we have one female that could go this year, and then next year we'll probably have 4 or 5 other ones up to size, and hopefully I'll add even some more babies this year to get a bunch of different bloodlines, because I think they're just absolutely incredible. So I'm glad that you were persistent and finally got your wish that I showed some gray bands. Copenhagen Wintergreen asked me how old Sunrise was. Well, believe it or not, I got her just about a year ago, and she was about 3 or 4 months old. So she's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 15 months. I mean, take a look at how big she is. And of course, she just ate a huge rabbit the other day. She is amazing, and I hope that she's gonna be around for a long, long time, because I absolutely love her to death. Regardless, guys, I'm gonna end the vlog here. Let me know what you think about this, kind of responding to your comments. Again, hit me in the comments and let me know what you want to see, and I'll probably do this again if you're really into it. Sunrise here is giving me a pretty good squeeze because she's hanging on pretty good. Regardless, guys, you have an absolutely amazing day. Thank you guys always for your support. You guys mean the world to me, and I love you guys so much. Can you do me a couple favors really quick before we get out of here? Can you smash that like button, as well as turn those post notifications on? If you don't have them on, you don't know when I upload a video, which is every day, 7 days a week, at 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. Remember to be kind to someone, and I promise I'm going to see you guys tomorrow.